Okay, I'm going to go through a quick little flight here. And I'm going to try to have a few targets out here that I'm going to have a quick go at with the Vickers missiles and rocket systems and guns. I have some light targets here for the guns and rockets, and some heavy targets. My preliminary run, I actually got shot down by these BTR-80s. I got some tow missiles launched at me, and I will be doing this post commentary. Quick takeoff. Slew on over to the first group on the left. Now I plan to do a rocket attack after this first group, so I'm gonna slew over after I take this guy out, get more of a side angle going. And just get myself nice and slow down. I've recently mapped 2 new keys to my HOTAS. That is the weapon reset and let's see, the head-mounted display, which I tried. Get these guys back into view. Good hit. Second shots away. I just love this helicopter. I just can't get enough of it. And it's actually really good for siege as long as you stay low, use terrain masking, and relatively high speed. SAMs aren't really too heavily armored, at least the ones that I've tried. So what I found is just zigzagging left and right once you have no more terrain masking available to you, and just popping some flares and using either rockets or guns. I prefer guns because of the gimbal. And last rocket is away. I always say rocket out of habit. Of course, it's the Vickers missiles as always. Now our second group of armored targets is to our far right. I've made some adjustments to my rudder pedals. I've used a curvature of 14 on my rudders, and man, it made a world of difference. There's no more really heavy jerk when I take it away from the center panel, and it just works so smoothly. Okay, lock onto these guys. Use the rudder to come back around the center. Let's see, find me where I'm at. Should be good. See, here I am. Still getting lined up. Moving a little bit forward. I've always kind of been a little bit confused about airspeed when you're on weapons mode, because it's not displayed on the HUD like it normally is. But I kind of eyeball it and use the airspeed meters on the on the regular display, using the knobs. And actually, what I found to be kind of handy is just to kind of hit the auto hover real quick, let it slow you down, and then release it and press it again once you get closer. First rocket is away, first missile. One of this one is initially a miss. This one is good. Quickly lock onto the next guy. Vicar away. These are the guys that shot me down last time with a tow missile or whatever missile they have. So I'm keeping my distance this time. Came up short. I haven't really learned a whole lot about the different vehicles, so I'm not sure of the capability of them all. I just kind of plop down different ones for some variation. Second Vicar is away. If I remember correctly, this missile also misses, or may hit. Good strike. Yeah, adding a curvature of 14 for the KA50 worked out beautifully. It's almost like having a whole new set of rudder pedals. I mean, it's unbelievable how smooth they are now. I can see what people are saying about the accuracy. I didn't like the accuracy at all, but I never messed with them with the curvatures because I just never really thought it needed adjustments. But man, I was wrong. Just adding a little short curve there of 14 really made a huge difference. And you, my friend, are gone. Okay, now just for the sake of keeping our last weapons available, for these trucks I use rocket attacks. I'm not really good with rockets. I haven't used them too much, so trying some different things in this run. Now my thought is the rockets are going to be kind of spread out. So I'm thinking if I attack them from the side, get them lined up in a horizontal line instead of kind of an upward line, that maybe the spread in the rockets will take care of itself. If not, the KA-50 has a very nice gun, gimbaled gun, you know, just fly over. You can rapidly take out many targets. And the Vegan 37 is coming out in a few days. I can't wait for that. As you've seen from all my videos, and with the KA-50, I'm a big fan of ground attack. I mean, whether it's a seed mission, taking out infantry, armored vehicles, that kind of stuff. I've done air combat too, and it's all right. I do it every once in a while for a change of pace, but I mostly do it because I kind of get tired of the slow speed of the of the A-10. And the Vigor is going to, the Vegan, rather, is going to change all that up. Plus, we also get ship missiles, which are going to be really awesome. Here you see me do my bank. I'm going to try to fly around to the side here. Get a good angle on these guys. These rockets I haven't used too much, so I'm not really too sure how they differ from the other ones. Get them lined up all nice and easy on the side. See, transport trucks, I also lay down some fuel trucks and some other transport site trucks. Rockets are always kind of hard to get lined up. Oh yeah, way off. And there goes all our rockets. So at this point, I go over to my next best friend, and that is the side-mounted cannon. Waiting for my launch authorization to pop up. 5.0. I think it's about 4.5 where you start getting the OK, unless you disable the auto weapon. You can also, I like using the low burst speed as well, which is set right over here. And this little switch over here on the left, just underneath the black jettison button, is the auto. You'll see me flip that in a second. Gun is still firing a little bit low. This is a terrible guns run. And here I finally get stabilized. And from here I just kind of go from one target to the next, fire off a few rounds, and then slew over to the next target. Still coming up short. Now here is where I stopped getting the authorization to fire. So I'm sitting here ending up playing around with a lot of the switches, trying to figure out what's going on here. And I finally end up just turning it off altogether so that I can do manual targeting. I'm trying to relock, I'm trying to change weapons, trying to figure out what's going on here. And nothing is working. So I finally flip off, go to manual mode for firing. Good hit on that. Next, another short burst. Now that I've changed over to manual, you'll see that a lot of these targets are just going down easy. And I don't know what the cause is for that. I changed the range right here. Open mode switch, burst length. And ever since I changed that, I was no longer able to get a authorized shot at these guys. So from here on out, for the rest of these targets here, I just use manual aiming. First group is wiped out, last vehicle is on fire and just blew up. Zoom out for a little bit quicker slew action. A tip somebody gave me for the Warthog control stick is to binding zoom over to your right throttle, the little gray lever, which works perfect for lining up shots and getting in a good zoom. You don't really use the lever too much. I believe in the real A10 it's the strength of the throttle, but you have the friction control on the top of the controller for the actual controller, so there's no real use for that here in the sim. It's just kind of an extra axis. And before I got rudder pedals, I was using that axis for rudder, if you believe it or not. As you see here, just making short work. Fire off a few rounds at one and then go immediately over to the other. That's why I love the cannon. It's very, very quick to select targets, which is why I like it for seed missions. I am a little bit liberal with my cannon rounds. Down to 4 already, 4 tons. Actually, I don't believe that's tons. Goes by weight though. Yeah, there's no way that could be tons. Wouldn't be one of my YouTube videos if I didn't misspeak something, right? Always calling Vickers rockets instead of missiles and all kinds of stuff, but oh well. First target is hit and smoking. Second target, I believe, is a miss. Yep, he's running. Of course, I would be too. Can't really blame him. Where's the rest of your buddies? Not really sure what these trucks are. Just general transport trucks or what? I'm sure there's a lot of hardcore DCS channels that have, you know, they know exactly what all the trucks are for and what they typically haul. I know they have ammo trucks, fuel trucks. I just cannot get a fix on this guy. Finally got him a couple shots in the rear. Moved on to my next targets. Next target's on flames. Third one's wiped out. Still being pretty liberal with my rounds. These ones are taking much longer since they're not the explosive rounds. Bet they will do just fine for these trucks. One more to the far left. One more over to the left. Got him. Got the hood at least once. Not on fire yet though. Another burst should do it. These are the weaker rounds, but these are just chucks, so don't matter too much. Time to jettison the rest of the ammo. External stores. And let's head home. I always like how you can watch your missiles kind of fall onto the ground. Very aggressive, as always. To get my speed up. Time to head home. As you see, the airbase is still very much into view. So we didn't do a whole lot of traveling. I like to create my own missions for the KA-50. Because whenever I do a instant action mission, they always put things so far away from you. I mean, you're miles away from your objective. Which I suppose is safer. But it just takes forever. You spend 30 minutes just trying to get to your attack area. And if you mess up or get shot down, then, you know, back to square one all over again. This was mainly a quick test I did for my rudder adjustments, which worked out beautifully, as I've said before. And I have my autopilot altitude hold button mapped to my radar altitude hold button on the KA-50. And auto rudder is mapped to my engage and disengage autopilot button on the Warthog throttle. And radar altimeter button I've mapped out to the KA-50's radar mode. And I use the red hat switch or China switch to forward and back to zoom in and zoom out on the display. Wheels are out already. A lot of times I don't really plan on recording these, and then after the fact I decide to go ahead and upload a new video just for the sake of it. Get some sideways motion here so I can maybe land a little bit closer to the runway this time. I know a lot of people like to do proper landings, you know, go for the runway. I always just tend to go straight for the parking area myself. But I mean, it is ultimately a game, so I don't really play by a lot of the rules that the hardcore sim players play, and a lot of the sim fans might not like that. Some of the casual users may. My methods are far from perfect. Unless maybe you guys also enjoy seeing someone a little bit more less hardcore, I guess you could say, a little bit more amateurish. But hey, I always say what works, works. I mean, you know, if it works, then why not? One interesting I've done too is I've put the warning gear light on the Warthog mapped to the searchlight on the KA50. It's one thing I rarely use, and I put the spotlights up, down, left, right controls on the upper D stick. Trying to figure out exactly where I want to face here. Quite a hard landing. Almost parked right here. At the last second decided to go ahead and creep in a little bit further. And time to get all the switches off. Accidentally hit the auto inverter. Yeah, I was going for the fuel quantity, as you see me correct right there. Everything's off, looking good. Another successful mission. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.